Chapter 1743 Breaking Through. Shah Hu laughed heartily and waved his hand. I don't need you. I haven't used Muddy Heaven pill body tempering. If you go there, it's just to die. Yang Kai and I can go there, you. Just hide away and watch the show. Sect Master Yang, Pang Zhen looked suspiciously at the stern of the ship, where Yang Kai was. He whispered softly, Sect Master Yang is indeed dragons among humans, the discipline has played against him before, not his opponent, but he has only recently come to Gloomy Soul Island, how can he help Martial Uncle? He has no doubt that Yang Kai's is powerful, but it is on Sorrowless Ocean after all. From his and Qian Mo's situation, it can be seen that the martial artist who is powerful outside may not necessarily be strong here. As long as martial artists who have lived on Gloomy Soul Island for a few years, they can knead him at will. So when Shah Hu said that he would only bring Yang Kai, Pang Zhen was a little worried. Shah Hu gave a wry smile. What do you know? Even old man is not his opponent. Can you say he can help? Huh? Pang Zhen's mouth was open enough to lay an egg, and his face was full of shocked expressions, almost suspecting that Owen had heard it wrong. I looked back at Yang Kai who was standing at the stern of the boat. Pang Zhen found that Yang Kai was smiling at his own harmless to humans and animals, and couldn't help but fight a cold war. Don't doubt, he is indeed better than old man. I tried a trick with him a month ago and was knocked back by his palm. Now, Shah Hu not at all continued. Going on, but Pang Zhen could hear the extravagance. Shah Hu's meaning is obvious. He was repulsed by Yang Kai a month ago, and now it may be even more unbearable. Pang Zhen became more shocked. Everyone got to Gloomy Soul Island together. In these 2 or 3 months, the strength of Owen and the others has not increased at all. They have been instigated by the martial artist of Gloomy Soul Island. Something meaningless, but Yang Kai can defeat Martial Uncle, who has lived here for 300 years. Is this kid a monster? The boat is not big, but it sails very smoothly on the sea. The little dolphin pushes it up from time to time, and the speed is not slow. Only 5 days before and after, I saw Gloomy Soul Island far away. Just wait here, and wait until old man is done, then pick you up. Shah Hu gave orders, and then casually threw a bottle of Muddy Heaven pill to Pang Zhen. 1 pill per person, I have absorbed the refining. Pang Zhen took it and was overjoyed. He has long been coveting Muddy Heaven pill on Gloomy Soul Island, and he also knows that the martial artist of Gloomy Soul Island is stronger than the owner and the others because of this spirit pill. Unfortunately, there is no way to get it. Originally, they had to wait until they officially joined Gloomy Soul Island to be eligible to receive different amounts of Muddy Heaven pill from the island master after performing some tasks. This process will be very long, maybe 80% of them people will die for some reasons before that time, and even if they receive it, the quantity is very rare, and the quality is even lower. But now, Shah Hu threw him a bottle. Pang Zhen thanked him respectfully and without any delay, he opened the bottle cap and distributed a pill to the discipline of Sea Palace. Qian Mo's eyes were extremely hot when he was looking aside. When he was sad and depressed, the corner of his eyes suddenly noticed something flying towards the owner, stretched out his hand and grabbed the thing on the palm. I looked up and found that Yang Kai was looking at Owen with a smile, opened the mouth and said, you guys should share a pill. Qian Mo blinked eyes, cold snort. I will return it to you in the future. I'll talk about it later. Yang Kai laughed, followed Shah Hu and ran towards Gloomy Soul Island. Little Dolphin made a weird shout from behind, seeming to be telling Yang Kai to be careful all the way. Send Qian Mo a bottle of Muddy Heaven pill, it is not a whim by Yang Kai, because he knows that even if the owner does not give it, Little Dolphin will ask the owner. It is obviously very close to Qian Mo. Will naturally consider Qian Mo. Almost all the Muddy Heavenly Lotus in Yang Kai's hands were found by Little Dolphin. It can be said that Muddy Heavenly Lotus and Muddy Heaven pill both have half the credit of Little Dolphin. The bottle of Muddy Heaven pill is nothing more than to Yang Kai. Ahead Shah Hu slowed down, obviously waiting for Yang Kai. After Yang Kai and his side, Shah Hu said with solemn expression, Yang Kai, the purpose of this trip to Old Man is only to kill the thief Ming Yue. On Gloomy Soul Island, Ming Yue is the most powerful, but there are also some guys who are not weak. When the time comes, you need to help Old Man sweep the battle. No problem. Yang Kai readily agreed and asked again, with Ming Yue fights, how confident is old Shah? Shah Hu looked serious and thought about it for a while before opening the mouth and said, at least 60%. Old Man and Ming Yue have not been 100 years old. See, his strength must have increased, but with those inferior Muddy Heaven pills, his strength can't be increased no matter how much he is. Old man has some confidence to kill him in the palm of his hand. Then I wish old Shah a victory. Yang Kai smiled he authentically. Shah Hu is high-spirited and vigorous. Since taking Muddy Heaven pill refined by Yang Kai, his strength that has never been increased has risen steadily. Although it is not as good as Yang Kai, it can be better for others. It is extremely tyrannical. Compared with the Muddy Heaven pill refined by Yang Kai, Shah Hu only thinks that the Muddy Heaven pill that owner took before is simply shit. Not only the quality is extremely low, it is difficult to refining, and the medicinal power is impure, which enhances the quality of the flesh body, but also brings some hidden dangers to the flesh body. Such hidden dangers cannot be seen in a short time, but if you take the kind for a long time Muddy Heaven pill, there will definitely be problems. Ming Yue does not have the advantage of Muddy Heaven pill, and Shah Hu would not put him in his eyes at all. The speed of the two people is extremely fast. After a short time, they simultaneously killed the gloomy Soul Island and looked at the city in the center of the island. Shah Hu sneered. The speed suddenly accelerated. An afterimage is left. Yang Kai at a moderate pace keeps up, following Shah Hu behind, without any loss. Ghost City is the only city on gloomy Soul Island. There are 7,000 or 8,000 martial artists living in the city, and it is also the only life base of gloomy Soul Island. I don't know when this city started to practice. Yes, the ancient city wall is engraved with the traces of as time goes by. Almost every martial artist who has made trouble to gloomy Soul Island will come to this city. In Ghost City, the highest status is gloomy Soul Island Master Ming Yue, followed by several of his henchmen, who control the entire gloomy Soul Island and control the flow of Muddy Heaven pill. The martial artist living in gloomy Soul Island wants to get Muddy Heaven pill. He must obey Ming Yue's rule. At the city gate, 4 or 5 martial artists wear armor and monitor the past martial artists. Any martial artist returning from the sea territory must hand over half of the owner's income before being let go. The most precious Muddy Heavenly Lotus will be collected in its entirety and will not be kept private to martial artists. Any martial artist who dares to keep Muddy Heavenly Lotus private will be punished with the most severe punishment. A team of teams looked exhausted, and the martial artists who had returned from overseas lined up outside the city gate, ready to enter Ghost City. Many of these martial artists have physical injuries, and some even lack arms or legs. They look very embarrassed. Obviously, they were attacked by Sea Beast when they went to sea, and the loss was not small. When those martial artists in armor were checking the harvest of the martial artists waiting to enter the city, they suddenly heard a cry of exclamation from the crowd. The leading martial artist frowned. Right, he wanted to open his mouth to reprimand, but turned his head and looked into the distance with feeling. Over there are 2 silhouettes approaching Ghost City quickly. The speed is fast as lightning, and the 2 people behind are dragging a long afterimage until the 2 people rush out of thousands feet. That afterimage gradually disappeared. The leading martial artist turned pale with fright, winked at several of Owen's companions, took out their secret treasures, and blocked them in front of the city gate. When the 2 silhouettes were about to approach, they shouted, "Who, stop me! Get lost!" An angry shout came. The 2 silhouettes had already passed the city gate, one after the other, and broke into the Ghost City. The martial artists who were waiting in line to enter the city were in an uproar, all showing expressions of surprise. The management of gloomy Soul Island is so strict. It hasn't happened in many years for such forced entry into the city. But today, they have witnessed this scene with their own eyes. Many people can't help but force the 2. Those who entered the city stood in silence. They feel that these 2 people are dead. They dare to provoke Ming Yue's authority in Ghost City. They are destined to die without a burial site. But before they finished their thoughts, they heard a loud bang on the ground, turned their heads, and suddenly discovered that the leader martial artist wearing armor had exploded and died, leaving a large piece of it on the spot. Blood and minced meat. The onlookers only felt a chill from head to toe. Keep quiet out of fear. They didn't even notice when the leading martial artist was recruited. At the same time, a roar that resounded across the sky suddenly came from the city. "Ming Yue, get out of the old man." The roar of earth-shaking was deafening, and many people couldn't help but feel a little face whitish. But there are also those who are afraid that the world will not be chaotic. After a moment, their expressions become extremely excited, and they all move closer to the source of the sound. They want to see who is the bold guy who dares to be in Ghost. The city called Ming Yue by his name. There was a flurry of turmoil in the entire Ghost City. Under Shah Hu's angry roar, countless martial artists gathered towards Shah Hu's location. In a short time, all around gathered more than 2,000 people, and the number is still increasing. Shah Hu stood quietly on a street in Ghost City, carrying his hands on his back, with an indifferent expression. Yang Kai is one position behind him, looking bored, looking at the environment all around. The whole Ghost City looks pretty good. Although it is a bit shabby, it is a great achievement to build a stronghold for life in this ghost place. There are even some shops near the street, buying and selling daily necessities. But at this moment, the people in the nearby shops have long been empty. Under Shah Hu's amazing imposing manner, no one dared to stay in the vicinity, and they were already hiding far away. All around continuously, there were whispering voices. Many martial artists pointed to Yang Kai and Shah Hu, pointing fingers, taking pleasure in other people's misfortune for those who had it, those who were cold-eyed, and those who began to stir. There are different looks.